Namaste, Jai Bharat. Pakistan is always very loud about their nuclear weapons. That is a fundamental Lahori character we know. They are very boisterous, they keep talking that we are a nuclear nation, etc. Maybe, maybe not. But are they irresponsible people? Suppose, I don't trust that they are nuclear capable in the sense that they can neither make it nor use it. Their IQs are so low, they won't be able to do it. This is my presumption. They are the country who could not even make a motorcycle engine, talking about rocket science and nuclear weapons. I don't know. But suppose they have. The question that what the world should ask is, are they a responsible society? That question must be asked. It's because of the same reason that the world wants to de-nuclearize Iran. It's not just because they are radicals. It's not just because they are radical Islams and terrorists. It's because radical Islam and terrorists are not very responsible citizens to any society. That's their kind of theological orientation, I must say. The kind of theological orientation which are imparted to them in their so-called madrasas right from very childhood, because they don't trust this world, they don't take this world serious, they don't want to have accountability to the world. They consider this world as unreal, in the sense not like the Vedantis, not the real world. For them, the real world is actually after when they die. That's after death. They believe in a kind of heaven called as Jannat, and that is where the life begins. Once a man and a group of people, or a society itself is convinced in life after death much more precious and comfortable than the life on earth, they consider that death is their desideratum, because then only their real life begins. Now, outside the frame of their thinking pattern, a normal man would find it so irrational and idiotic. But that's once you're outside that frame. But once you're inside that frame, for you, that is a truth. That is a reality. And such people wouldn't bother about anybody or anything or whatever might happen to people. Their considerations only about themselves, very highly egocentric, and to a world which they individually would like to live with the kinds of luxuries listed in the list. That list is very funny again, but there's no point in spending time on such things. But that belief negates the real existence. See, Sartre and his philosophy, French, talks about existential situations. For him, existence, real existence, is what one ought to address, not something which is spurious. He is very concrete and very pragmatic and very real as we understand reality normally, not the metaphysical concept of reality, reality as you see. No matter how impermanent that is, of course, that Buddha or the Upanishads also say, no matter how impermanent that reality is, no matter how not very lasting that reality is, but the reality, as we look at it as a knife edge, is as true as anything when it is for the time being. For such things, reality is a knife edge, all right. But once you think reality is only happening when you cease to exist in this physical form. Of course, there is very interesting. They continue to hold their physical bodies. They continue to carry all the impulses and emotions and cravings. There is no rationality in it. There's only selfishness of not really self-esteem. There's only selfishness of a debauchery kind of existence, which is granted to them in something which they take for granted as God, whatever. So they would go for jihad, and they would go for anything. That is the kind of society you find many places, and that's what is a threat to mankind. And to such people, the nuclear weapon in their hands, they don't care about anybody else, because they are very sure that their real life starts after death. So they wouldn't mind to die. That's how they blast themselves, just for trivial matters. And the point about Pakistan and the difference between Pakistan and Bharat is that as such, I don't think they will be nuclear capable. That's my personal feeling. But if they are nuclear capable, who would be using, who would be issuing the order of a nuclear action in Pakistan? It's none except the army. And what is army in Pakistan is open for people to understand. They actually rule. They actually rule the nation. They actually run the show. But they have these puppets. These puppets, like, democratically elected prime minister, president, etc., who just powerless, but they wanted to do their time in a possible comfortable manner. And then after the time is done, they'll just go to some foreign countries and settle there in a supposed life of luxury. How comfortable they will be, I don't know. That's for them to speak once they start living abroad with this attitude. With this attitude, wherever you go, well, life will be like that only. But then they will be so helpless that they can't go back. They are irresponsible, I told you. They will use nuclear weapon at lifting of a finger. They are capable of doing it. And that is extremely dangerous. Therefore, even if Iran is not de-nuclearized, denuclearizing Pakistan becomes very important. The world who believe in Pakistan are involved in the highest of self-deception, and supporting them are self-defeating. We shall meet again. Hopefully, things positive can follow. Namaste. Jai Bharat, Jai Sri Ram.